Hey folks, Bob Reese here with the Guides Forecast. It's August 18th. Your fishing report for August 18th is pretty spectacular. Lots of fish in the river still. It's becoming evident that this run 2 is underpredicted. Hopefully that doesn't cause us trouble when we're trying to manage for the constraining stocks of Thule salmon in the lower river. Catches are excellent. Started off the morning today at the bridge, hoping to catch some fish at high tide before the tide turned. Did have one or two bites, got a wild coho we let go. But overall, high tide bite, not impressive on either the Oregon or the Washington side at first light. Sometimes that materializes. It did not this morning. And then as soon as the tide turned and started going out, that's when they started snapping again like yesterday. And they did snap, and kind of initial couple of good passes there, just about maybe 30 to 40 minutes after the tide started running out, both on the green line and some action on the red line. And then a little bit later on the tide, we went over to the deep water again in Washington on a call from a colleague of mine. And it was just very consistent Chinook action. You guys have heard me say this before, but these Chinook are running very deep this year. That may not be all that different from previous years, but I'm having much better fortune putting my 16 and even 20 ounce sleds down at 32 strips for the 20 ouncers, 42 strips for the 16 ouncers, and it's a bad idea to use anything less than 12 ounces. And target that water that's deeper than 40 foot. So I would say overall more consistent on the blind channel side, the Washington side, the Desmona Sands, and good action between Wing Jetty 7 and 5 and 5 and 1, and Buoy 11 was fantastic today. The lower you get into the outgoing tide, the lower you want to fish in the river. But one thing is consistent. Those fish are running deep this year. So get your gear deep, make sure you're fishing deep. I mean, I'm watching other boats around me that aren't quite doing as well. And I've just become adamant after talking with several of my colleagues that your gear's got to run deep. So as far as what we're using for gear to catch these fish, spin fish are working well. I think they worked a little bit better yesterday, but the hot rods today were size 3.5 spinner and bait chunk rigs. So the 3.5 spinners, I just really ran about two different colors. I had a rainbow 3.5 and a half brass, half red with blue dot 3.5 with a couple of trailing hooks and a chunk of anchovy or herring on the back hook there behind the 360 Pro Troll flasher. And those rods went off very consistently today. Our hatchery ratio was pretty good today. We ended up killing 7 hatchery Chinook by about 1240. So that gives you an idea how many fish you have to handle to catch 7 hatchery fish. And it was good. There's no other way to put it than fishing is as good as it gets. The last 3 days have been great, and I anticipate the next several days to be really good fishing as well. So ocean wasn't a great option today, pretty snotty offshore. I'll give you folks an idea how it looks for tomorrow in the forecast section. So